This is my GE Adora electric dryer. It will power up, but when you try to turn it on, this is all you get. Just a little click. Doesn't matter what you do with the settings, you still only get that. Now my first thought was that I had a problem with the door switch, which is right here. That controls the light, and it also controls whether or not your motor kicks on. But that switch, the door switch, is not my problem. My problem is the belt. And I found that out by taking these two screws out. They go up through here. They screw into the top cover. And with those two screws out, the front of the top cover was loose. So all I did was lift it up and slide it to the left. And that comes right off, at least on this model. With the top cover off, I immediately saw what the problem was, which was that my drum belt had broken. See the little stripe right here where it's shinier? That's where the old drum belt was and where the new drum belt needs to be installed. In order to replace that belt, I have to get the drum out, and in order to get the drum out, I have to get this front panel off of the dryer so that I can take the drum out through the front. There are two sheet metal screws, one right here and one just like it on the other side. It's recessed for a square drive. There we go. Alright, I didn't pick up on it, I just pulled straight out. You can see some wiring harnesses down there. I'm not going to disconnect those, not yet. I'm going to see if I can get this done without disconnecting those. So I'm just going to swing this door to the side. And right there is the broken belt. And there we go. It's the next day, and I have the replacement belt. It was about $17, and I found it locally. I also have the dryer unplugged now because I am dealing with the internal components, and there is electricity down there if you still have it plugged in. And I've also vacuumed it out a little bit, but now it is time to install the new belt. I have some degreaser on this paper towel. I'm going to clean up the idler pulley. You can see all that black that's on there. That's rubber from the old belt. Because what happened to the old belt, which I didn't realize until I got to the parts store where I bought the new belt, the guy at the counter explained to me what happened. Here's the old belt. 3 ribs and 2 little channels. New belt has 4 ribs and 3 channels. That's because the old belt had one of the ribs eaten away, and that's what the black on the pulley was. So this belt, which looks like it only has 3 ribs and 2 valleys, actually when it was new it had 4 ribs and 3 valleys. When I'm installing this new belt on the motor pulley and the idler pulley, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing at all, and neither am I. I'm going to have to do it by feel. But here's what's going to be going on. I'm going to double it over. I'm going to form a loop with the flat side on the outside. So the ridges and valleys are in the middle. I'm going to put that loop around the idler pulley, work it around these wires, and I'm going to pull it down onto the pulley on the motor. And once that's on, the tension is pulling it back in that direction. And that tension is what pulls the belt tight on the drum. So that's how it's going to be wrapped around these pulleys, and then the remainder of the belt is going to be wrapped around the drum. So that's how it's going to go on. Now on the drum, I'm sure this piece has a name, but I do not know what it is, but that's on the back side, and that fits right into that hole right there, which you can see a little bit of grease in there. I put some white lithium grease, just a little bit of white lithium grease. I'm not sure if I should have done that, but I did. So that hole receives that pin. And now I have the new belt wrapped around the drum, and I have it with the flat side out so that the ridges and valleys are against the drum. And you have to be careful that you have it flat all the way around so that the belt's not twisted. So I'm going to pull it around until this comes back around again and make sure that it stays flat on the drum. And there it is. So the belt is in the right position, flat against the drum, and now I'm going to use the belt to pick up the drum and put it in position. And it is not going in as easily as it came out. There we go. And I also have the belt in that groove, in that shiny groove where the old belt was. Now I have to fit it into that hole in the back. I believe that's it. Now I'm going to release tension on the belt because I have to go down underneath. Hopefully it will not twist. So here we go. Here comes the hard part. I think you can see the idler pulley through there. What I'm going to do is lay down, put my right hand in, grab the arm on the idler pulley and pull it down, and then use my left hand and try to form that loop in the belt and then pull that loop over the idler pulley and then hook the loop onto the pulley on the motor. So right hand pulling the idler pulley down, left hand working the belt, and we'll see what happens. I just hope that belt hasn't twisted. I have a loop formed on the back side of the idler pulley. So now, like I said, I'm going to reach in with my right arm and try to pull that idler pulley down. This is not fun, people. This is not fun. There's got to be an easier way. The loop is over the idler pulley and the end of the loop is over the pulley on the motor. If the belt is flat all the way around, then I should be good. Here's where the belt comes down from the top of the drum on the left side. Down there, it wraps around the pulley on the motor, and then it comes back up and goes across the idler pulley. And the tensioner on the idler pulley is pulling it to the left, which pulls that part of the belt tight around the drum. So I think I'm good. I'm going to turn the drum a little bit just to make sure that it'll spin and to make sure the belt is flat all the way around. I'm going to keep going until I see the model number stamped on the belt, because that's where I started, and here it is. So the belt is flat all the way around. It's on the idler pulley, it's on the pulley on the motor. I'm in good shape. Now I can get this front panel put back on. There are 3 spots down below where it hooks in, so I'm going to set it down and those little hooks and then push it in up top to snap it in. And on the underside of the drum on this front lip, I want to make sure that that rests on top of these slides, I think they're called, which I put a little white lithium grease on those also. So the drum just rests on those and slides around. And remember, I did not disconnect the wiring harnesses, so those are still good. Now lift the drum up so that it rests on those slides. Make sure the drum will turn. And now we can get those screws in. So now, even without the top on, we should be able to plug it in and it should run. Should power up. Here we go. Alright, it runs, but I don't like that noise. So what is causing that noise? Right there. Yeah, it's scraping against something. Alright, I think I figured it out. I have the front panel taken off, as you can see, and right here there's this little tab of metal sticking out. This is on the right side. On the left side, there's also a tab of metal that was sticking out, but I believe when I reinstalled the drum, I bent that tab back in. You can see it right down there on the inside. And when the drum spins, it drags against the metal. So I'm going to get some needle nose pliers, grab that metal and bend it back, put the front panel back on, and hopefully that scraping sound will be gone. Front cover's back on. This piece of metal is out of the way. It's plugged back in, power it up. And it should be quiet. There we go. That's all it was. Now let's get the top cover back on. And remember, I slid it to the left a little bit to get it out, which means once those 3 tabs slide through the top, right there, now I need to slide it to the right. Now the 2 screws in right here. So that's how to replace a dryer drum belt on a GE Adora dryer. This should be a very similar process, even if you're not working on a GE. Any electric dryer is going to be pretty much the same. The difference is going to be how you take yours apart to get to the drum. And you can probably replace the belt without taking the drum out, but I just think it's easier to take the drum out to make sure that the belt is flat all the way around it. Then use the belt to lift the drum, put it back in, put it around the idler pulley and the pulley on the motor just like you saw. So, hope this helps. Thanks for watching.